Happy Friday. Welcome to Meet the Press Now. I'm Chuck Todd reporting from Washington as Republican presidential hopefuls descend on Iowa, addressing social conservatives and evangelical voters at what some believe is a critical conservative Christian conference, where moments ago, the governor of Iowa, Kim Reynolds, used the event to sign into law a 6-week abortion ban. The event is drawing attention, welcome or not, to two of the field's biggest challenges, the issue of abortion and the issue of Donald Trump. On abortion, Governor Reynolds signed this 6-week ban, despite public polling in her own state suggesting that Iowans do not support this, not even close. According to a recent survey from the Des Moines Register, a solid 60% of Iowans say abortion should be legal in most circumstances, all or most of the time. They have a 4-part question. But it is a winning issue for certain parts of the Republican base, particularly the Christian conservative voter base in Iowa's caucuses. According to our poll, most recent NBC poll, 53% of Republicans say they would be more likely to vote for a candidate who supports a 6-week ban. Just 29% of all registered voters agree with that same sentiment. This is a disaster to try to woo swing voters in a general election. But we're not talking about general election politics now, are we? Iowa now becomes the 16th state to ban abortion at 6 weeks or less. All of the Republican candidates who are in attendance today are embracing that 6-week abortion ban, either indirectly by simply participating in this event or directly, like former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who spoke at a campaign stop ahead of his appearance at the summit later today.
I want to congratulate Governor Reynolds and the legislature for the heartbeat bill that's going to be signed today. Arkansas has been ranked as the #1 pro-life state in the nation. I'm proud of that. We want to protect the unborn child.
They have such a great governor here as Governor Reynolds. She's done a fantastic job. She just had a huge victory signing she's going to sign today the heartbeat bill. But she's done so much for so many different issues, make that one of the best governed states in the country.
And while former Vice President Mike Pence did not bring up abortion on stage today, earlier this week, he embraced a position on abortion that goes even further than many of his Republican competitors, telling the Associated Press abortion should be banned even when doctors have determined the pregnancy itself is not viable. Notably absent from today's summit, though, was the field's far and away frontrunner, Donald Trump. Whether it's because he didn't want to tie himself to the issue of abortion, or he didn't want to be seen on stage with his rivals, or he simply still wants to feud with Iowa's governor for not yet endorsing him, it's hard to say for sure what his motivation is. And still, it doesn't change the fact that the most undisciplined candidate in this field has been remarkably disciplined on the issue of abortion. While he's claimed credit for appointing the Supreme Court justices who voted to overturn Roe v. Wade, he's gone out of his way to avoid taking a real position on the issue of abortion bans. In fact, he's gone further. He has specifically blamed his party's disappointing midterm performance on its messaging on the issue. Again, he might have said that for self-serving reasons, to deflect blame away from himself for the disastrous candidates he supported in primaries. But he also may be right. Still, his absence at this conference and his comparatively moderate messaging on abortion, at least compared to the rest of the Republican field, sets him apart. And it puts him closer to the overall American public. Reminds me of what he did on entitlements compared to what the rest of the field did on entitlements.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.